Man, it's been a minute since I checked in with, but we got to talk about some stuff we got going on in Berea. A bunch of information, news, and notes coming from out of Berea with the Cleveland Browns. We're going to talk about a bunch of that here on today. So this is going to be like a catch-up episode, but we're going to get to the draft. We're going to get to the Browns and their coaching situation. They're interviewing guys for offensive coordinators. They found an offensive line coach. You got Myles Garrett. He gets some accolades, and he's doing his thing according to PFF and All-Pro News and such. And Deshaun Watson has another setback with an injury. I'm going to tell you why this could be devastating. And we're going to get to talk about the priorities. The NFL draft is here. We've been talking about it 2 weeks, but we're going to get to diving into that right here today on The Ultimate Browns. Fastest 30 minutes in all of sports, man. Get buckled in, get ready, be sitting down, ready to go, because I'm going to tell you what, we're going to be going fast at a crazy pace right here, and we're going to get into a bunch of stuff with the Cleveland Browns. First of all, let's say happy holidays to all those out there. Haven't been with you since, I think it was last week or sometime, but we are back ready to go. We got some news and alerts ready for you guys, and some programming notes coming up as well. So keep it locked. So we'll tell you about everything that we got coming up here on the Ultimate Browns. But first, let's get to this, man. It's the fastest 30 minutes in sports. The Browns been doing a bunch of different stuff, man. They got Myles Garrett got some awards today. Let's see what else happened. The Browns found an offensive line coach. We'll talk about that. The Browns are hiring guys for offensive coordinators. We'll talk about that. The Cleveland Browns are going to play in London. We'll talk about that. We're going to get to the Cleveland Browns have the number 2 overall pick. People talking about trade back, moving in. We'll get to my first thoughts over here on Ultimate Browns because I'm going to tell you my philosophy is, and we got to talk about the priorities, right? We got to get to those priorities. But first, let's get to the breaking news. Somewhat sad news. This is from Ian Rappaport. This was on the internet. This is about a couple of hours ago. This actually broke during UCSS when we were on the show. It says, this is according to Ian Rappaport, Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson ruptured his Achilles again. Further testing showed, and he has had another surgery on Thursday to repair it. Less than 3 months after the original tear, it happened again. Watson faces a longer road back and now could miss all of 2025. And this is according to Ian Rappaport. This was all over the internet. And so, this actually broke at the end of our show. And I've been solid and concrete on how I feel about a lot of things. I've actually partially torn my Achilles heel before. I've torn my ACL before. I've had back surgery, neck surgery. Actually, right now, I'm having issues with my ankle. If you watch UCSS, you'll see me in a walking boot on UCSS. So from that standpoint, you guys know how I feel about surgeries, injuries. So for me, I've always stood on business, and I always stood on real time. And what I mean by that is I don't wish no injuries on nobody. And to be honest with you, I think it's slightly corny, and I always say that if you want to wish injuries on somebody because they played poorly, then I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't know what kind of – that's just not where my moral compass is. Deshaun Watson is not going to play for the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson was pretty much done the second he tore his Achilles heel on the field, the first time he tore it. This setback to me just means – that not only this could be something that's going to turn out to be something that Deshaun Watson is going to have to deal with this year, but this is going to tell that Deshaun Watson is going to have to deal with this. This might be career ending, and I'm coming at it from a perspective that's kind of different. Like, the Cleveland Browns are the position right now where they got to be moving ahead, trying to figure out how they get better. And the Deshaun Watson trade is what it was at the time they made the deal because they thought they was going to be the best decision to get them to be at a point where they need a quarterback. We'll talk about quarterback here in a second as well. We'll bring all this back around. But the thing about it is it shouldn't make you feel any better about Deshaun Watson playing terrible. You ain't getting the draft picks back. You're not going to get any of that money back unless, of course, he kind of slipped and fell and did something else. But I digress. We'll assume that he heard it doing what he needed to do in rehab. I'm not here to play tabloid radio or tabloid TV. I'm gonna take it for his face value. He had to have another surgery, but when you have to have these multiple surgeries on your Achilles heel, um, it's debilitating. Look at what happened to Kirk Cousins. Look at the loss of explosiveness. Look at the loss of agility. Many people never come back from that once. He's gonna have to do it twice. Not to mention that he has a shoulder injury. Not to mention he has knee injuries. All of that good stuff, man. And one thing that I always talk about it like this, man. And once again, at the end of the day, me jumping up and down and celebrating that somebody had an injury, making me feel better about my 3-and-something season, that's not going to get it done. And jumping up and down because Deshaun Watson is injured is not going to help you identify another quarterback. I'm here where I am with it because, look, I've been pragmatic about it. I wanted him to have the 4,500. I've been on all platforms talking about, I want this to work. But when it doesn't work out, then guess what? At the end of the day, we move on and find me somebody that's going to work out. And so I've always said this, and I've been saying it for 8 months prior to this, and I've said this before. I've been crystal clear about what I've been meaning and how I've been going about this. And by the way, everything that I've been saying has been accurate. I told you if it would happen if it didn't work out well with Deshaun Watson. I told you there wasn't really that many options available for you out there in the free agent market. I told you it was going to get a little difficult and chippy with Myles Garrett and some of the veterans if you got 3 wins. And I told you the quarterback and coach and all of those individuals will be on the hot seat. So this changes nothing about whether Deshaun is going to come back and play because, frankly, he was not going to come back and play, period. I thought he was already not going to be in the mix after the first one. This one is difficult because this is like the second one. This is career type stuff we're talking about here. And sometimes you get, and I've been to a place where you spend more time rehabbing and being with doctors than being on the field with your teammates. And after you continue to do that, it just wears on you mentally. It's just like, man, and you just was like, I might as well just go home and chill. I might as well just spend this money. I might as well just figure out what I want to do with the rest of my life, because those injuries do take a mental aspect, a mental approach, because every single time you have an injury, you have to go in your mind and you have to regurgitate and rethink about all of them long, hard hours with rehabbing and then pulling and pushing and prodding and getting swelling out and draining and needles and pain shots, all that other stuff. Not to mention, you're doing that just to get back to normal. He had already had diminished skills in a lot of these areas anyway. He had diminished skills in terms of his arm. He never had a truly rocket arm, but he could throw a nice deep ball. But some people weren't sure if the shoulder was nice. Then you take a look, he already had an ACL, I believe, either in college or coming out of high school into college. He tore his ACL and missed some time with the Texans, so that's 2 ACLs. He's already torn his Achilles heel twice. He has the shoulder injury. And on top of that, you've already missed so many seasons. You sat out willfully the 1 season with the Texans. You came back the suspension year, and you missed majority of the season. You got injured with the shoulder injury. That was another year. Now you got the setback with this, and now you're saying you're going to miss the whole 2025? Nah, that means your processing is slow too. That means you're not out there learning what the defense is trying to do to you. The speed of the game is speeded up, quickened up. The speed of the game is faster, and you're slower from a mobility standpoint. So for me, I don't not only think this is going to be a setback for him personally, for him as a quarterback for the Cleveland Browns moving forward, but this could be the beginning and the end. And I'm not saying that with any venom and vitriol. And like I said before, I stand on business. I don't. You guys do what you want out there, but I don't make it a habit of just saying I'm happy because people got hurt. I mean, you want to root for your team. You want to root for your team. That's fine. Some people is just, I don't know. I don't know where their moral compass is. You don't have to be happy and like, you should never be relieved by another person's like pain and anguish. That shouldn't be a thing. But I ain't here to preach to you. Y'all do what y'all want. I'm just kicking it how I kick it on my platform. Y'all do what y'all want to. Y'all say what y'all want to about whatever the case may be. I just give you what I think, and I'm gonna keep it moving. But I wouldn't make it a habit of doing things like that. But at the end of the day, Deshaun Watson will get his money. Deshaun Watson will get paid. And that's the nature of the beast. This is professional football, professional athletics, and injuries is part of it. And this is just the cold, hard facts. But in terms of Deshaun Watson being in the mix for something, guys, he was never in the mix. Let me just let you know that right now, before this even happened. They restructured his deal a couple of weeks ago. People went crazy. Guys, he was never in the mix there. But with that being said, one thing that I will talk about is this. As we kind of put a bow on the rest of the regular season, here's where I'm at with it. You know, the Cleveland Browns, and I said this on UCSS. Listen, they brought back Stefanski, they brought back Barry. I told you I got a new approach going into the offseason. Everything is show me. Everything is show me, prove me, right? Look, we've done this dog and pony show before. You can say all the nice stuff at the press conferences and how you want to evaluate and get this thing fixed and what coaches you want to bring in, and Dorsey got fired and AVP. Listen, under no circumstances did Kevin Stefanski skate on this one. He's going to get his opportunity for this year, but he better coach his ass off for this year. Andrew Barry better acquire talent like he's never done before. And I'm going to tell you something. If it's a rookie, if it's a stopgap, if it's a guy that you got off somewhere else that you can rehabilitate, here's my objectives for the Cleveland Browns. First and foremost, I want Andrew Barry and Kevin Stefanski front row and center. Everything that you do is on you. Everything that you do is on your record. Who you bring in a coach, I could care less who it is. I'm going to take your word for it, but they better produce. I don't care. Really? Let me be honest with you. I'm going to give you my opinions and the priorities of what they should do, but ultimately, it's on y'all. Y'all going to pick who y'all want, give them free reign to pick a quarterback, trade down, trade up, do whatever they want to. If it don't work this year, that's on you. You want Jameis Winston? You don't want Jameis Winston. You don't like DTR? Cool. You want Kirk Cousins. Maybe you want another bridge quarterback. Maybe you want to trade for one, get a quarterback in the third round. I don't care what you do. Whatever you do, it better work. Because there's no more, give them some more chances. There's the offensive line. How could the Haslam's is making them do it? It's Deep Podesta, it's the Illuminati, but it was COVID, but it was cold outside and it was a lion in the street. At this point, you're 5 years in, you're under 500. If it was me, I would have had to keep it moving. But they gave you the chance. And I'm going to tell you right now, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to keep rehashing the whole time whether or not why I believe you should be here or not. They kept them. They here. Let's move on. Everything is about what you do now. I don't care about Baker. I don't care about what Deshaun Watson. And we started the segment. None of this stuff distracts me. Nothing's going to distract me from this. Fix that offensive line, fix these penalties, find me some talent, find me a quarterback that's competent. I don't care where you do it, and you better win games next year. I need at least 7-8 games. Don't play around with me. So all of the talk and rhetoric is where it's at. But the main objective y'all should be trying to figure out is where you get a quarterback and how you do it. And you get paid millions of dollars to figure it out. And when you guys say, well, G. Bush, well, what suggestions do you have with it, G. Bush? Nah, listen, I don't get paid $1 million to tell you suggestions. They get paid millions to identify quarterbacks and get it right. So let them find it out, but it better get done, because that's just what the bottom line is. The scapegoats are finished. Don't you push no another assistant coach in front of the bus. Don't you put them on the train. I want to see from them too. Step your picks up, step your evaluation up, and if you were smart, the number one priority is to get that quarterback position figured out. And we're going to come back and talk about it. I thought Cecil Shorts did a great job of talking about this with Earl the Pearl and Ultimate 216. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you check it out. I think he brings another sort of, this is why UCSS is so doggone good, because we don't, you got loud mouths like me. Don't take your word from me. I'm just a dude that played in the MAC. But we got the Dustin Fox. We got the Tyvis Powell. We got the Cecil Shorts in the game. You want beat reporters? We give you. We want sideline reporter. We give you Mary Kay. We give you a Didi. Come on, bro. Like it's in terms of what it be the collective. Come on, we cover the NBA is better than anybody can do it. So come on now. Give us that respect, hit that like button. But Cecil Shorts has some crazy stuff to say, and it was short and sweet about why you should be talking about quarterback number 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll come back and do it. But first, let's get to our first break. You're listening to G. Bush right here on the Ultimate Browns. You know what we got to do? We got to talk about Gametime. And if you're going to use that Gametime app, why not use that Gametime app to do what everybody in Cleveland is talking about right now? How's about going to see the Cavs? Let's check out the Cavs. You know, because listen, I talk about going to the games in 2016 when they won a championship. But let me tell you something, that environment that's down there right now at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse is electric. Why not get down there and use the Gametime app to get you some of the best seats at the best prices, man? Gametime also has a new feature called Gametime Picks. That lets you, it takes all of the guesswork out of it, right? It gives you your favorite tickets for your favorite live events and make it easier. The picks filter out the fluff so you can only see the incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets, man. You can get the seat views right from the app. Lowest prices guaranteed, or Gametime will credit you up to 110% of the difference, man. So here's what you need to do. Take the guesswork out of buying them tickets at Gametime. Download the app today. Create an account. Use the code word LOCKED on NFL, LOCKEDON NFL for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms will apply. Again, create an account. Redeem the code LOCKEDON NFL for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. What time is it? Gametime. We've been off a little bit, so we ready to go. Matter of fact, speaking of, during the offseason, Ultimate Browns will be Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Every Tuesday, we will be going back to just Tuesdays. Obviously, we will still give you the on-demand clips, but basketball season's up and running. Spring training will be up and running. We got a lot of shows over here. We just want to condense it and give you the best amount of information in one sitting. So when we get back to football season, we'll go back to 2 episodes per week. But starting in the month of February, we will be, or excuse me, not even the month of February. We're starting next week. So next Tuesday, we will upload our episode at 5 p.m. You'll get that episode. We will put our clips up, and Ultimate Browns will be up every single Tuesday at 5 p.m. So that's a little alert for you guys as well. Just making sure that we can condense the information, give you the best information so you can get in, get out, enjoy your off season, and still have the best content and the latest up-to-date content with the Ultimate Browns. So just a little programming note with that as well. Let's get to this. And this is the first opportunity that I've had to talk about my draft priorities. And there's been a little something that I've seen going around that I think we need to get to, and that is there's this idea that I think people are trying to get off, where it's like we're going to just punt on quarterback. We're not going to say anything about quarterback because we've been so unsuccessful at quarterback that we now have talked ourselves into, if the perfect prospect is not there at 1 or 2, if the perfect guy, the most done, the completed, finished player is not ready to take at number 1, and he's not Andrew Luck or Peyton Manning or some of the consensuses, we can't do that. Too risky. The safe thing would be draft in the trenches. Y'all been telling me again. You show your hand. Cliches all day here in the barbershop, Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, Ultimate Browns. G. Bush I challenge your critical thinking. Just bear with me here. I'm going to tell you why that is not what it is. That does not make you smarter for thinking that you're going to draft in the trenches when you need a quarterback. Now, there's a couple ways you can think about this, but let's check out what Cecil Shorts has to say on Ultimate 216 with Earl to Pearl, and he makes a very brilliant point. Are you trying to just get decent, or are you trying to win? And if you're trying to win, you got to consider this.
Name your top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
No particular order. Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. Help me out here. I'm having a brain freeze.
Mahomes,
and I guess it's
stop right there. 2 of those quarterbacks are in the AFC North. The 4 quarterbacks we named are in the AFC. So getting this room together has to be the highest priority that you have. And I don't know how you do it or when you do it, but you have to make sure that this room, this quarterback room, is able enough to go out there and produce and do well with whoever's calling the plays.
This is what I'm talking about. I love the level of urgency. See, he's not coming at you with no prognostication, with all this. Listen, I hate draft season because we start talking draft talk. We start talking draft lingo. We start falling right back into them old traps where people just say a bunch of sir and so, and then it just sticks. There ain't no concrete nothing. You be like, I think you should take the best available lineman. Take a Mason Graham. No. There is only Mason Graham. It ain't take an Abdul Carter. No, listen, there's one Abdul Carter. Or take the best available receiver, trade, all this vague stuff. Listen, man, let me tell you something real quick. Cecil played in the league. You know what he said? And it really stuck with me and made me come up with this topic was this. All this extra stuff about you trying to go out there and get a left tackle and building through the trenches and all of that noise, that's just nothing but noise. See, what you're really trying to do is you're trying to avoid having to pull the trigger and make a decision. And that's what this front office is going to have to do because they're on the seat now. You punted, you could have took Baker Mayfield and kept him, right? But this regime decided that they didn't want to give Baker Mayfield that extension, and they moved on from him. Baker doing what he doing. They decided they wanted to trade 3 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson and gave him the contract. Didn't work. We talked about it. We've all talked about it ad nauseum. Didn't work. You drafted and went out and you traded for the Josh Dobbs. You went out and got the DTRs. And then you played DTR, you played him in the game, and you saw what Huntley did again with the Dolphins, who was obviously better in that game. Huntley was. What it tells me is you don't have the eye or the scouting acumen to tell who's good at quarterback or not. Which quarterback have they evaluated so properly? Even when you bought Case Keenum in as the number 1 backup and was paying him $8 million, you didn't even let that man do his job. If I remember correctly, Baker got hurt. You brought him in. He won a game for you on Monday night. And instead of sitting Baker till he was ready, you fumbled the bag on that one too. What quarterback situation have you handled correctly? And the thing is, you're going to have to identify the quarterback. That is the skill. We can't keep having a circular argument where it's Stefanski doesn't have his quarterback. Stefanski can't pick his quarterback. They won't let him have the guy he wants. Stefanski is a great quarterback whisperer. But then when you get there and you look around, you telling me, oh, I don't like any of the quarterbacks in this draft. Okay. Do you like Jameis Winston or no? He throws too many interceptions. Okay. Do you want you see any other quarterbacks you want to trade for? No, not really. They're just Sam Darnold, but he's going to go back. Maybe Justin Fields. I don't know. Okay. Well, are you going to are you going to draft a guy in the middle round? I don't know. We have a lot of holes to fix. Okay. No. You're going to find something. Like my mom used to tell me when we be in the store too long, and she said you could pick one thing out, and you get to the cash register, she take the candy bar and you hand it to the lady and say, no. I want a Snickers. Give me the Snickers. Your mom say, okay, we'll go back and get this good Snickers. Come on, we got to go. You go back. Hand it to the cash register. Here you go to Snickers. No. I wanted the Three Musketeers. By that time she get to that, she ain't gonna let you get to the switch that out. You done got what you done got. Get up here. I know the thought process is you wait it out. You wait it out until you get the best available opportunity to get one of these guys. Right now, G, how's about trading back, getting ammunition for next year? So we can go in the draft and get Arch Manning, because that draft class gonna be much better. You know how that works. Why are you playing dumb? Why y'all playing dumb? Because if Arch Manning is that guy, if Arch Manning is the second coming of who you guys have all anointed as that dude, there's not enough picks in the world for the team that's drafting number one to give it up for you. Did Andrew Luck for the Colts, did they give up the number one pick? Did they? All these teams with bona fide number one generational quarterbacks that are projected, how many times are those guys traded for? Never, because the team at the top of the draft is running to you and saying, I'm drafting that guy. So I don't care if you have the Cleveland Browns have their pick and the 28th pick in the first round. It's not going to be enough, big dog. Not to mention, who knows what Arch Manning's going to do. I heard the same thing about Jake Locker. Jake Locker is going to come back. I heard the same thing. I heard the same thing about Matt Leinart. Matt Leinert's going to be the greatest thing. I heard the same thing about Quinn Ewers this year. Where's Quinn Ewers and Carson Beck doing? Going back to school in the transfer portal. Don't prognosticate and tell me what's going to happen 12, 14 months away from now. We'll get to that. But here's your problem. The problem is the Cleveland Browns don't have 12, 18 months. If they drafted in the top 10 again, guess what? That means they're getting fired. So for all those guys, we'll talk about the names coming up here in a little bit. We got a long season to talk about the names and why you don't do it. But when you're coming up here talking about these left tackles, and these drafting these defensive tackles, no disrespect, but it's laughable. Take Mason Graham at number, they trade down and take a defensive tackle. Listen, I played defensive tackle. I played on the offensive line. I played line my whole life. And let me tell you something. If you think the difference between the Cleveland Browns winning some games and losing games is because you took a defensive tackle, you're crazy. Mason Graham is a 1 technique or a 3 technique that does not have what we would call Warren Sapp pass rushing ability. This guy's going to help you stop the run, plug some gaps, be sound, have a nice run grade on PFF. That don't do nothing for you when you got DTR as your quarterback. We got the greatest pass rusher in the world right now in Myles Garrett. You won 3 games. I get that you like Micah Parsons. I like him too if we trade down and get what we need for him. But don't ever get it twisted that this is somehow equivalent. You take this guy. You could take Micah Parsons and have Myles Garrett and win 4 games next year. Keep playing at quarterback. Keep playing around. Every single year it takes Browns fans to figure out. Y'all always got to figure out. Yeah, maybe Donovan Peoples-Jones ain't going to get it done. Man, we only got Jerry Jeudy and Elijah Moore. Man, every time we talk about weapons, it has to be David Njoku. Maybe we can wish for Nick Chubb of 2020 to come. You need running backs. You need receivers. You need corners. You need linebacker. You need a bunch of stuff. And if you're going to tell me we're going to consistently we just invested a 2nd round pick at Mike Hall Jr. We just invested a couple of years ago, therefore, in Perion Winfrey. We just invested a year ago in Siaki Ika, another 3rd round pick. What did they do? Mike Hall's a nice player. We just invested in Zach Zenner. What do you like? I'm sorry, guys. You look at Mason Graham's stats. I mean, I'm not just going on stats, but he's going to give you 4 sacks, a couple of quarterback hits, be in his gap, Dalvin Tomlinson stuff. That ain't going to get it done. And you're out here going to war against Patrick Mahomes. You're going to war against Joe Burrow. You going to war against the best quarterback, generational type quarterbacks with weapons. And you want to get complacent. You want to get cute. You want to get safe and get a left tackle. Stop playing with me. Listen, we had the best left tackle in the world, top 5 ever to play the game in Joe Thomas, and he still never snuck the playoffs. So all this rationale about drafting in the trenches and thinking that you're smarter than everybody, you're not. You had Joe Thomas, no quarterbacks, no playmakers, and what happened? You got Myles Garrett, no receivers, no quarterbacks. What happened? But you guys got to keep on learning, because every year I draft in the line and trade back and get. What happened when we drafted Danny Shelton and Cam Irving up front? That worked very well. 2 first-round picks. Worked well for us, wasn't it? A center and a nose tackle. A center and a nose tackle. These guys crack me up, bro. Y'all better stop listening to this old school stuff, man. I gotta go. This segment was extra long, but I had to get to that because come on, man. We out of pocket. We out of pocket. Speaking of, the Browns got a lot of stuff going on. Myles Garrett did get some awards. We'll talk about London. We'll talk about a bunch of stuff coming up on the other side. It's G. Bush here on the Ultimate Browns. As I did say, so subscribe, like, everything with Ultimate Browns. Ultimate Browns moving forward, starting next week, 5 p.m. Remember, 5 p.m. is still the same day. We just going to give you the Tuesday episode, right? We do Tuesdays and Fridays during the season, just Tuesdays in the off season. So we move into 1 day a week. Make sure you check that out on Tuesday. Ultimate 216. Make sure you check that out. My man Earl Pearl doing some big things over at Ohio Media School. Cecil Shorts was a great addition to the show. Make sure you check that out right here on the UCSS network. And this is about to be the hottest thing moving. Jason Lloyd, Mikey McNuggets doing some great stuff. Cavs, best team in basketball. This is the place to be when you want your Cavs breakdown. No one does it like us. We devoting the manpower. We devoting the time, energy, and effort. This is where you need to be. And don't forget, baseball is right around the corner. Baseball is right around the corner. That means Zach Myles will Adam the Bull, ready, waiting in the bullpen, no pun intended, right here with the Ultimate Guardians. And don't forget, come on up tonight. Tonight, we got the Ohio State Buckeyes. Tyvis Powell will be doing the Ultimate Buckeyes. Hopefully, they can go ahead and smoke the Texans. Excuse me, I almost said the Texans, but UT, University of Texas, in the college football semifinal. Make sure you guys check that out. All these shows courtesy on the UCSS network. And all you got to do is hit that like and subscribe button, and you'll know when every one of these shows is coming out. Welcome back to the fastest 30 minutes. This ain't 30, it's more like 45, but I'm going to give you an extra little part. It's free. Free. All you got to do is like it. Right here on the Ultimate Browns. Let's get to some news and notes. We have from around the league. A lot of stuff going on. First and foremost, let's get to this. Browns have had some news with their coaching staff, right? So earlier this week, this happened. The Cleveland Browns have named Mike Bloomgren as the new offensive line coach. And Mike was the head coach of Rice University in Texas. He does have some NFL experience. He came up under Bill Callahan, I believe, with the Jets. He's also worked his way up. He also was with David Shaw out in Stanford and some of those teams. And if you know David Shaw and Stanford, how they ran the ball out there, a guy that's from all accounts a positive teacher, a guy that's fiery. And like I said, this on UCSS, the only thing I'm looking forward to is I want the guy that's going to be there to be a tough, SOB. He better. I want him in these guys' faces. I want this guy ready to go. I want him to be a teacher. I want him to be hands-on. And most importantly, I want them ready to go play physically. I think the camps have been soft. I think the way that they've been teaching them is soft. And I think that they've been babying these dudes way too much. I want some technique. I want to get down in the trenches. And I challenge Joel Bitonio. Joel, I think you got something left in the tank. DeJuan Jones, I think you could be a Pro Bowler. Jack Conklin, I like the way you bounced back this year. Wyatt Teller, I think you could be a little more dominant. But I'm challenging y'all to get in shape physically. I don't feel that the Cleveland Browns offensive line is lean and mean enough. I think Joel can lose some weight. I know DeJuan Jones need to stay at a certain level. I would be telling them dudes, hey, I need you to come back at this way. I'll be weighing them every week. Joel, if you lose a little weight, you can get a little something off your trunk. I guarantee you'll be out here and you'll be back at a Pro Bowl level. You played well this year. Hey, listen, Wyatt, I guarantee you slim down, you can get back to the point where you could be a little more dominant. Jack Conklin, I want you to get your legs up underneath you. This is the first place to start right here. It's always great to have a new face and new sound and a dude that's ready to go. But like I said before, I'm not going to be a hypocrite. Kev, this your pick. You better make it work. Make it work. It's your pick. Let's keep it pushing. Speaking of, Browns. Guess what? The NFL has announced that the Jets and Browns, in addition to the Jaguars, will play in London in 2025. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium will host the games featuring the Jets and the Browns, while the Jaguars will return to Wembley. So there you had it. That's courtesy of Ian Rappaport. The Browns will be playing in the UK. And by the way, Browns backers is everywhere. We're everywhere. Browns backers, they roll with the best of them. So I'm sure that there's some people, we got people that watch UCS out in Germany, out in Iceland, out all over the EU. So I'm sure that those fans will travel out there. Decent story. Hopefully I'm more interested in who the quarterback going to be out there than the Browns playing out there. But, it sucks a little bit because we got to wake up. That's a 9:00 game Eastern here. And that's rough. But at least if we could if we win the game or if we smoke them and get them out the way, then we can have the rest of our day to ourselves. So that's the little news and notes out there. Browns will play in London. It sucks because they will take one of your games, your home games, so you'll lose a home game. But at the end of the day, it's a decent look if you can go out there and get a win. I'm more interested in getting the win than where it's at. So we'll just have to make sure we can get that done. Let's get to this. Myles Garrett. Now, we talked about the breaking news with Myles Garrett and how Myles wants to do this, and he wants to make sure that everything is square and secure and that the team is going to win and that they need to show him something. And this is even more of a reason why Myles Garrett, to me, deserves all of the credit in the world, and people need to put more respect on his name. Myles Garrett, earning Associated Press First Team All-Pro. The AP All-Pro team has chosen national panel of 50 NFL media members. First Team All-Pro, I believe this is his fourth time making First Team All-Pro. Again, you look at his numbers this year, he had identical almost to the years he had as Defensive Player of the Year last year. Only thing detracted and taken away from that is the fact that the Browns won 3 games. But when you look at it, one of the most dominant defensive ends in the game, and what I expect is the Cleveland Browns, and mark my words, there's certain ways you can show somebody they like you. You can tell them, you can show them, or you could pay them. And I think the Browns might have to default to just paying Myles Garrett if they want to show how well they feel about him. So I look for extension to come up here as well. I think that might be the next thing. And then just talk about it, just to put it in perspective of the dominance. So you know, Myles Garrett also won PFF's award for the best pass rusher. His 24 best pass rusher award winner, 92.8 pass rushing grade, which is first in the NFL, 83 pressures, which is tied for first, 23.1 pass rush win rate, first, and 18.2% pressure rate. So Those are all monstrous rates. That just shows you how dominant he is. And I see all y'all out there. I see all you draft guys out there. And I listen, Abdul Carter, if it was me, if you were trading down, you could trade down to with the Raiders or trade back with the Giants to still get in the range and take Abdul Carter. That's what I would do. That's my trade down option. I would definitely do. And when you take a look at his pass rush rim rate with Abdul Carter in college, his pass rush rim rate was higher than Myles Garrett's was at Texas A&M. So if you can imagine Abdul Carter at that position and those two guys playing, I think that they would be monsters. The only thing I got, and the only thing is a detraction, and it still doesn't preclude me from taking him, is Abdul Carter. I don't know how you play him. I don't know how you play him as a every down end. They may need to play him as in the way they were playing with JOK, which to find some ways to make sure that he could be effective on the game. I mean, because he's another, I'm going to run around these blocks. And so if he can get to a place where he could be an every down guy, then you got something where it's ridiculous. Then you got something where it's going to be a cheat code. But putting him on the other side of Myles Garrett as we continue to look forward during the year is going to be something that's very tantalizing, especially when they go to the combine. Because I'm going to tell you what, he's going to run something crazy. He's going to run something fierce. He's going to run a crazy 40 time. And we're going to look back and be like, oh, my gosh, man. So with that being said, man, before we wrap it up, I want to let you guys know something about the way we're going to do the draft coverage here. Look, trust me. I said this on UCSS. There is not a such thing as being a flip-flopper when it comes to the draft, because it's all about opinion. It's all about, what you think and the way you would go. And also there's going to be a bunch of information that's going to come out that's going to give us more information on these guys, whether it be pro days, whether it be the Senior Bowl, whether it be individual workouts, whether it be the combine, going back to look at some of the tape, injuries, different things in the medical, the things, how they interviewed, how in shape are they, any injuries that we didn't know about. All of these things are going to be very fluid as we work our way to the draft. But the cool thing about it here on the channel is we're going to be very draft heavy. We're going to be very draft heavy in what we do on UCSS. And this is another unique way of looking at it, because we've been at a place where we've always known who the quarterback was going to be. We've already known that we didn't have a top, number one overall pick. We've always known pretty much who was going to start on these roster positions. And for the first time, you now have an opportunity with a number 2 pick, with a couple of 3 picks, with an opportunity to trade back and a high enough pick. There's a lot of things on the board. So everything that we're talking about is going to be great conversation. It's going to be some good fun. Make sure you comment in the comment section. That's the place to be. And as you know me, I try to get in the comment section during UCSS and all the other stuff to interact with the people. So let us know what you think. Is there anybody off limits to you or positions you don't want to see at number 2? And we'll be able to communicate. With that being said, you never know where G. Bush might show up. It could be a radio, TV, on the internet, but I always keep the Clippers with me. So if you want a fresh cut on sports, the Barbershop, G. Bush, Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, and the Ultimate Browns is the place to be. As always, have a great weekend and go Browns.